Greetings, all you humans and monsters out there. I'm Duuz-Diz-Din coming at you with another episode review of Star versus the Forces of Evil. This time it's Season 4, Episode 19, titled The Right Way. Or at least this half of it is titled The Right Way, as we open up with Eclipsa continuing to do her best to defend against the Solarian warrior, but to no avail. But suddenly, we find that Star has come in with the cavalry, namely the allied forces of Quirky Guy, Talon, Raven Talon, Kelly, Jorby, Ponyhead, Sea Pony. They're all there just to help out and do their part, along with Rich Pigeon. Sorry, Rich Pigeon, I didn't mean to forget you. And we see that Star is able to send the Solarian warrior over into the monster village with a mighty whale blast. But Eclipsa says that's not enough to defeat the Solarian warrior, as she explains to them that is a Solarian warrior, and that's not enough to defeat it. So, everyone bands together to go into town and try to take it down, with Ponyhead hoping to get some good ratings from this action. But Eclipse is not sure about this. Though she is weakened from her fight with the Solarian warrior, she doesn't know how capable Star and her forces will actually be in this situation. But Star is determined, and they descend into the village, only to find various monsters have already been struck with the Solarian sword. Seeing this, Quirky Guy, Talon, Kelly, and Jorby go off on their own in order to face the monster, while Rich Pigeon, Ponyhead, Sea Pony, and Star stay behind to help out those in need, only for Quirky Guy to be impaled with the Solarian sword, cursing him with the virus as well. And it's up to Talon, Jorby, and Kelly to face down this monster. Meanwhile, we see that Globgor is still reeling from the spreading strike from the Solarian sword, and as Eclipsa goes in to research it, she comes to find out that the Solarian sword creates magical stars that over time will completely consume a monster, ending in a fatal end for them. And as the B team, as they're known as, goes in search to continue to try to find the Solarian warrior, they then stumble upon Talon, who has also been stricken down. And after Rich Pigeon is incapacitated, Jorby and Kelly go in to try to do battle with the Solarian warrior, only for them to be struck down as well, leaving it to Ponyhead and Star. Eclipsa, talks things over with Sir Dashing as well as Jana in order to get some opinions as to what they could do, with Jana suggesting that they just blow up the Solarian warrior, which ultimately they have no choice but to go with, as Ponyhead is taken down as well, and it's up to Star to do her best to fight off the Solarian warrior, with Ponyhead actually giving a fairly rousing speech for once, something useful for Ponyhead. And she gives a rousing speech to kind of embolden Star and to get her courage up to the point where Star creates this magical suit of armor to do battle with the Solarian warrior itself, as she tells her friends to retreat back to the castle as she goes toe-to-toe with the Solarian battle armor. Meanwhile, Sir Dashing, Eclipsa, and Jana have stockpiled all the, every single explosive in the kingdom, only for Sir Dashing to accidentally push it, sending it careening down the monster castle into the town, much to the shock of Eclipsa and Jana. And as Star does her best to try to just dissuade Mina, as she believes Mina is in the Solarian battle armor, dissuade Mina from pursuing trying to take down Eclipsa. With Star saying that times have changed, people have changed, and there's no going back once that changes come into place, which is true. That's something that a lot of people really need to start taking to heart in today's society. That, things change. People adapt. Certain things that might have been looked down in previous years, people change, times change, and those things aren't, as offensive as they used to be to our modern day sensibilities. Weird becomes the new norm before you know it. And that's just something Mina will have to accept. And as Star manages to knock down the Solarian warrior, the explosives end up going careening into the battle armor, exploding on contact. However, this was not enough to take down the warrior, as the warrior emerges from the blast and impales Star's magical colossi form, just barely missing Star herself. But it does end up popping the form, sending Star careening down to the ground. And as the warrior goes in to deliver a final stomp, taking out Star herself, in comes Eclipsa, smacking the warrior away. And Eclipsa decides to bring out the spell with no name. And this is a powerful spell that we come to actually find out is actually Solaria's spell herself. A spell for total annihilation, which actually kind of makes more sense. Eclipsa doesn't seem, now that we've really gotten to know Eclipsa herself, it's starting to kind of dawn on me after a time that Eclipsa's not that good of a study, and it doesn't seem like she'd have the dedication to actually create a spell that devastatingly powerful. Coming from Solaria, who has created so many just devastating, spells and abilities and techniques. Hell, just take the Solarian sword itself. It makes sense for it to be Solaria's sword itself, and you realize it in the incantation as well as later on, when an Eclipsa brings out this massive spell and sends it just burning, just completely just burning through the Solarian warrior, just stopping it in its tracks. But this spell causes massive damage to the surrounding area as well. And Star's just taken aback by this whole situation, but Eclipse is just wiped out. That's it. She is in no position to continue to, go on with this attack anymore. But then suddenly in comes Marco, yelling for Star. They reunite, they have a nice hug. Star's utterly happy to have Marco back, even to the point where she says she wants to put Marco in her pocket, showing that she still remembers the events of what happened in the magical realm. But, this is interrupted by Marco saying that Mina is on the way, with Star being like, well, no, we just defeated Mina. And Marco's like, yeah, I don't know who that guy is, but, Mina's on her way right now, and she's not alone. Showing that Mina has an entire battalion of Solarian warriors. How did she get this many people on her side? I know humans are not down with Eclipsa and her whole thing, but to have this many people just ready to go at it with Solari, with Eclipsa and all this, just is very shocking to me. And that ends the first part of episode 19 as we move into the second part, Here to Help, as they're faced down by these various Solarian warriors. But we open up with Spider-Bite Princess and her slime boyfriend just kind of hanging out for the most part with his family. A nice, slime monster just, inviting her over, but they're soon interrupted by Mina Loveberry in with her entire battalion of Solarian warriors, with all of them just shocked by what happened to, as we find out, this Solarian warrior's name is, I don't know if he's dead or not, they don't really say anything, but we find out his name is Doug. Eclipse was going to town with this dude called Doug Doug this entire time. And I'm just like, man, if that was one guy just going at it, dude, just 100 of these guys is just gonna cut a swath through Eclipse and her forces. But Mina declares that the kid gloves are off and she's ready to go all in as they all retreat into the monster temple. And Mina delivers an ultimatum to Star specifically that when the rooster crows, whenever that might be, it's a dumb bird, it's just gonna crow whenever the fuck it feels like, that's when she demands that she be handed Globgor, Eclipse, and Meteora. If not, the consequences will be dire. And Star is just not willing to, do this and to not just give up, but Eclipse is just like, yeah, we can't face that all down, even if I was able to bring out my mighty spell. But Star's not too keen on the spell that Eclipse let out. The sheer destructive force that spell was able to put out is just too costly in the amount of damage that it can do. But then in comes Queen Moon and King River, who say that they're here to help. And after seeing the various injured people who went to toe with Doug Doug, as we found out, Moon says that the best way to heal them is to take them to the magical temple. And you even see King River just, because of the past events between Globgor and River, they've kind of created this bond of fatherhood kind of thing. And, River is all too happy to do what he can in order to help Globgor. And in River's opinion, that's bringing Globgor some meat, despite the fact that he's a vegetarian. Meanwhile, Eclipse is meeting with everyone she can in order to try her best to formulate a plan on how to take down Mina and her Solarian army. Buff Frog explains, though, in a rather somber moment, that Buff Frog's ancestors went toe-to-toe with the Solarian warriors, and they were hopelessly outmatched. Many died, so that doesn't create a great picture. And Moon and Eclipse go off to the side to discuss things, with Moon not being too happy about the destructive power that Eclipse let out before, and she prioritizes that what Eclipse should do first and foremost is evacuate the people and get them to safety most of all, which Eclipse immediately does as soon as she gets that in her idea, because she's never been one to really be altruistic and think of others. She cares more for her family more than anything else, which makes sense, but in this situation she really needs to start thinking of the populace. So she divvy out orders to get everyone to safety, but Star says that she and Marco should help herd out the pig goats. And after they leave, Eclipse thanks Moon for her guidance and wisdom during the events of all of this. However, Moon suddenly opens up the front door to the Solarian warrior, much to the shock of Eclipse, as Moon tells Eclipse that her best bet is to hand herself over, showing that Moon is actually in league with Mina Loveberry, which was a shock to me. I couldn't believe it. I thought there was something else deeper beyond this. But then we cut to the next part where Star's a little down on herself. She's not too happy over the fact that her friends were all injured in trying to help her out, come in and try to save the day. But during a moment with Star and Marco just kind of playing around with the pig goats, Star opens up and says that she remembers what Marco said in the magical realm during the events of Mama Star, despite the fact that Marco really doesn't. And the revelation that Star tells him about is the fact that he heard her say, she heard him say that Marco loves Star, and Star feels a little bit bad about it because he feels that that wasn't the proper thing to do. that ultimately Star isn't in love with Marco. She doesn't feel the same way. He feels bad about it. She doesn't want to, put Star on the spot or anything like that. And he doesn't want to disrupt her life, especially with everything going on right now. But Star says there's no disruption. She doesn't feel that it's wrong, or it's not wanted, and she proves it by kissing Marco. To show that they love each other. Finally, after all this time, they finally just gone in for it and shown that they love each other and they care for each other. And, basically decide to become a couple from this point forward. And of course, that's not how this is going to end. You can't have a happy ending here. That seems too simple. And as they decide to, go back to Eclipsa hand in hand, they come back only to find Eclipsa and Moon in basically a standoff for the most part. And when Star questions what she's seeing, Eclipsa demands that Moon reveal what she did. And Star realizes that, oh god, my mom is in league with Mina. Moon is serving Mina Loveberry only for Moon to make it known that she is the one that Mina is serving. She is in fact leading this entire attack on the Monster Temple. Which I'm like, say what? Like, Moon, you didn't want the throne before. Multiple times, if I remember correctly, Eclipsa was even trying to hand the kingdom back over to you. Like, why go through all of this? Why do this? If, Eclipsa would have easily handed it back over to you with enough time and guidance. That's the first thing that Moon, had the opportunity for when she first came back from, Pie Folk Island. Eclipsa was all too willing to hand back over the throne. So it just felt really weird to me that Moon would just be in league with all of this. Unless Moon has a deeper plan, or had some, because, the next few episodes are out with, Disney just deciding, here, episode, you get an episode, you get an episode. Like, dude, you're just burning through this entire series. But it just kind of took me off guard because it feels like there has to be a deeper plan that Moon has going on here, because it can't just be that cut and dry that Moon just wants the throne back. There has to be something deeper, but to turn over Eclipsa and her family, that could have devastating repercussions. It just doesn't quite feel right to me. And, well, I'll just shut up and watch the next episode, but tell me how you felt about this episode in particular. How did you feel about the revelation that Moon is in league with them? Or more specifically, how do you feel about Star and Marco finally coming together? How did you enjoy the fight between, the Allied forces and Doug, crusher of kingdoms? Damn you, Doug. But, that was a fascinating fight, and that really goes to show just the devastating power of a Solarian warrior. Just one Solarian warrior was able to do that much damage, and it took that much just to take it down, only for an entire battalion to show up. I'd give up too at that point. But tell me your thoughts on this episode, and feel free to leave me a like or a dislike depending on how you felt about this episode review, and tell me what I might have done wrong in the comment section below so I might better myself for future videos, make some improvements, tweak some things. And how about subscribing and hitting the bell icon, because I'll definitely be putting out an episode review for the next episode. Just stay tuned. And if you want to find me on social media, just Google Duuz-Diz-Din. You will find me everywhere, for better or for worse. And until the next video, just remember to always be on the lookout for your so-called family. Bye-bye.